You don't know who I am, but I know all about you. I've come to talk to you tonight about the things I've seen you do. I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold hard truth. You don't know who I am, but I know all about you. I've come to talk to you tonight about the things I've seen you do. I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold hard truth.
My apologies. My apologies. I forgot my mic was off. Hold on one second. There we go, folks. Good morning, Cayman. The third time has got to be the charm. Mic is on, unmuted. My apologies. I had to adjust that. Hold on now. Let me make sure we're good. All right, Raul can hear me. Charlene, try refreshing. Let me just check Facebook. And the third time has... Okay, all right, Facebook is good. I've just checked it on the phone. You might just need to refresh is all. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sunshines. We got Greg, Anna, Ingrid. Raul is on YouTube. Charlene, Napoleon, Roger, Shan, Morna. So Morna says, thanks for another awesome day. Thank God for another awesome day. Keep blessed and stay home, Cayman. Joseph, Roger, Jessica, Iceland. Thank you guys so much. Happy Monday. It is April the 20th. I'm here for it. And boy, we had a very interesting weekend. A lot went down this weekend. What's a weekend in the Cayman Islands without a little bit of controversy? And we're going to start with it right away. We're hoping to have some guests check in with us. So we have 3 different people that are potentially scheduled to join us this morning. So we're going to go with the flow as soon as they're able to jump onto the live stream. We have a person who went out on Friday. We had a person who came in on Friday who's in quarantine. And we have a lady from Nicaragua who was trying to get out on Saturday. But as we all know, that went to hell in a handbasket. I was actually going to do my Sunday editorial, which I never got around to recording because it was just such a busy weekend. I was going to do my Sunday editorial on this whole thing with Nicaragua, but I'm just going to say what I got to say this morning. You guys know how it is. At the end of the day, you know, yeah, so you guys know how it is. This is the hard, cold truth. We're not into sugarcoating anything for anyone. And we will certainly be giving you guys our opinion here. And like most things in life, you can take it or leave it. So if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. And if you like it, good for you. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. There will be a lot of things in life that people say to us that we're not going to like. And sometimes you just got to suck it up, buttercup. And that's what it is. So we're going to get to that here in just a second. However, let us begin our day as we have been doing for the last couple of weeks with a bit of a positive message, because some of you may get offended during this show. So it's probably a good thing for you to have some positivity with the Daily Ohm. Sorry. No time to make any tea this morning. So I'm drinking straight water. Haven't even had time for breakfast yet. No, I didn't even cut up my usual apples. We're just diving straight in this morning because we have so much to cover. But like I said, positive message. Ooh, this one sounds interesting. Probably exactly the kind of message we need to hear today. Layers of feeling. Let us see what this one is all about. Let me drag this over to my other screen here. So this one says, right, layers of feeling. Passive aggression is most often wielded by those who feel powerless and want to avoid their own true feelings. Well, now let's get into it, because a lot of people are in their feelings this weekend. So yeah, let's see what this one's about. And I honestly do not pick these. You can go to the dailyohm.com website and we just read them, whatever the Daily Ohm is for the day. We hardly ever take them out of order. The only reason I would take one out of order if, like last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, they hadn't updated that one. So we just had to pick an older one for the day. Otherwise, they're in the order that you see them. So this isn't, this is not a situation where, you know, I'm trying to pick it depending on what we're going to talk about. But it seems like on so many different occasions, it has been absolutely fitting to the conversation that we're about to have. And today may be no exception to that. I do not, for the record, pre-read these, so I don't know what they're going to say, but let's see what this one says. It says, many people are taught from a young age to suppress feelings, commonly regarded as negative, such as anger, resentment, fear, and sorrow. This is right up the alley of what we're going to be talking about today, folks. Those who cannot or will not express their emotions tend to engage in passive-aggressive behaviors that provide them with a means of redirecting their feelings. Passion aggression can take many forms. People who feel guilty saying no may continually break their promises because they couldn't say no when they meant to. Others will substitute snide praise for a slur to distance themselves from the intense emotions they feel. More often than not, such behaviors are a cry for help, uttered by those in need of compassion and gentle guidance. When we recognize passive-aggressive patterns in the behavior of others, we should never allow ourselves to be drawn in to a struggle for power. Passive aggression is most often wielded by those who feel powerless in the face of what they perceive as negative emotions because they hope to avoid confronting their true feelings. They feel they're in control because they do not display overt emotion and often cannot understand how they have alienated their peers. If someone close to us shows signs of frustration or annoyance, but claims nothing is amiss, we can point out that their tone of voice or their gestures are communicating a different message and invite them to confide in us. When we feel slighted by a backhanded compliment, it is important that we calmly explain how the jib made us feel and why. And when an individual continually breaks their promises, we can help them understand that they are free to say no if they're unwilling to be of service. As you learn to detect passive aggression, you may be surprised to see a hint of it in yourself. True. Coping with the natural human tendency to veil intense emotions can be as simple as reminding yourself that expressing your true feelings is healthy. The emotions typically regarded as negative will frequently be those that inspire you to change yourself and your life for the better, whereas passive-aggressive behavior is a means of avoiding change. When you deal constructively with your feelings, you can put them behind you and move forward, unencumbered by unexplored emotion. And we're going to talk about some unexplored emotions here this morning, folks. Why? Because it's the cold, hard truth. And a lot of us need to have a cold, hard moment with our own emotional selves. Now, listen, Garth, Trisha, John Wesley, big up to John. First time I've seen you tuned in. Joy, Raymond Gill, pow, papang. Raymond is doing a little fist bump. I feel you there, Raymond. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we are going to get into it this morning. It's like we got a big cup of tea and we need to start pouring it for every single person that's listening this morning. Here's the deal, folks. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Okay, let us start with the ratchet behavior, because this one should be short and sweet, that was witnessed on Instagram by persons who sent it to me. So we will start there first, dispense with that ridiculousness, and move on to the whole discussion of persons in the Cayman Islands who wish to leave the jurisdiction, who are unable to leave, and the controversy and the feelings that has brought to the surface with a lot of people. Anne-Marie. Okay, Anne-Marie, we're going to address you and many others with your naive thinking this morning with a little bit of the cold, hard truth. All right, so let's start with the young lady. So what this was is there was a young lady who decided to, morning Blake, morning Morna, morning Caradine. There was a young lady who decided, there was some DJ partying, and a lot of people, listen, we had a DJ session from Fame in Jamaica, where on Saturday night, they were having a little get down, boogie down, whatever you want to call it, playing some retro hits, playing some reggae, some old tunes. You know, they had people on the turntable doing their thing. People loved it. It's like, listen, we're all in quarantine the world over. So a little bit of music is something to allow you to enjoy yourself. You can live in the moment. You can get up and dance. And, you know, they had people who were joining them by via Zoom. And on the Zoom feed, they were, you know, showing from their phones or laptops or whoever they were connecting to Zoom. They were just having a good time, dancing and enjoying themselves. Lots of people are doing this. This is nothing new. It's actually been going on since quarantine started. Music is one of those things that is universal and that connects us in so many different ways. So a couple local DJs have been doing it as well. We even saw last week, you guys may not have seen it, but on my personal page, I saw DJ XS. He used to be here in the Cayman Islands. He's since moved back to Canada. He was on his page and he was, you know, doing a little bit of DJing, and people were tuning to that and enjoying that. What's the big deal? There is no big deal. We don't care about that. We think that's fantastic. That's great. However, what happened on Saturday is as we were enjoying our live stream and seeing people all over Jamaica having a good time, we saw the woman in her curlers dancing. We saw grandpa grooving and getting down, kids enjoying themselves. A couple people had a beer or two in their hand. It was great fun. And it was good to see them be able to pull in that conversation via the Zoom feed. And they had, I think at one point, over 300 persons joining the party, literally, through Zoom. And I thought this is a fantastic idea. I absolutely loved it. As you guys know, on Friday, we were talking about having our own kind of exercise session. And that gave me an idea of how to make that even more interactive and bring people inside of, the whole exercise thing that we're planning on doing. Fantastic. So there's a little young lady here in the Cayman Islands. I don't know what her name is, something McLaughlin or another. She decides that she's going to take it up a notch and basically, I don't know. I guess some people think that music, if it's like a certain type of music, is your invitation to bring out the ratchetness, to strip naked and give a strip tease and whatever. I'm not your moral compass, but I have an opinion and I'm entitled to my opinion. On this platform, the Cold Hard Truth, I share my opinion. And you don't have to like my opinion, just like you don't even have to listen to my opinion. Everybody has got a choice. So when this video was sent to me, I was actually not listening to that particular show, but when the video was sent to me, I was just like, wow, this is a little ratchet. And I think we all know what ratchet means. And if you need a definition for ratchet, we can look it up and give it to you. So right away, I shared the video. I shared my thoughts on it. I mean, literally, she had her behind out, pouring milk on it, which I don't know who finds that attractive. Pouring whipped cream all over her ass and winding up. And, the guys, I guess, were there for it. They thought it was great, whatever. Everybody has the thing that they're into. That's certainly not what we're into. A lot of people think that that's ratchet behavior. And the reason why we use that term is because those who are into ratchet behavior know precisely what that means. They know what the word ratchet means. It really doesn't require any explanation. So her and her friends were offended by the fact that we called her ratchet. Now I'm like, listen, people talk about this is no different than carnival. Good, because a lot of what happens at carnival is extremely ratchet behavior. So I'm glad that they wanted to compare it to carnival, because comparing it to carnival is no elevation of what she was doing, right? And there's a lot of behavior that I think is ratchet that happens at carnival. And we addressed this last year. People winding up on children, people even taking children to carnival is, in my opinion, ratchet and completely inappropriate. So if it's ratchet or someone thinks that it's ratchet, own it. If you can get on a show and on a live stream with over 100 people in Cayman, and once 100 people in Cayman have seen something, that means that every single person has literally seen it. Then own your ish. Don't be ashamed of it. What's the problem? Because we think your behavior is ratchet, so what? You're bold enough to strip half naked, pour milk, which you probably need to feed some children, and wasting whipped cream all over people, or all over yourself, my apologies. And when people say, ew, I'm not impressed by that, that's ratchet behavior. So what? There's obviously a lot of people who want to give you a medal this morning, who think that behavior is great, that has no impact on your reputation whatsoever. So good for you. I hear you work in a bank, young lady. Maybe none of your clients or your coworkers care what you do in your personal time. Yes, Simone, she is a grown-ass woman. And as a grown-ass woman, when you do stuff like this and other people don't like it, don't approve of it, and comment on it because it's in a public space, which, by the way, Instagram is, it's not private, then you should feel absolutely no way whatsoever about people giving you their opinion about your behavior. So I do see Miss Thelma has joined us as a guest. Miss Thelma, just give me a second. I'm not quite ready for you yet. I'm going to bring you in just in a second. So Miss Thelma is going to talk about a little bit of her situation, trying to get off of this island. So people will think that you're slack. and you have to own it. If you engage in certain behavior, own it 100%. You've got other people out there, like I said, who don't care what you're doing. They're like, leave the woman alone. She's having fun in her house. I certainly hope there were no children watching that show. But if there were not, yes, that is your business and you are an adult. Own it, girlfriend. There should be no reason why you should be contacting us because we think that it's ratchet and you shouldn't feel any way about it. Broadcast it all over the Cayman Islands and you enjoy your life and you have a good time. End of story. I don't have anything else to say about that. There's a lot of people who've been taking to Instagram, Facebook during this quarantine. I don't know if the quarantine is making people stir crazy or what the hell is going on, but people are acting a little strange. So whatever you're into, as long as you're not breaking the law or hurting other people, that's on you. However, when you put it out in the public space, will you be judged? Go ask Kim Kardashian. Girlfriend is a friggin' gazillionaire. And every single time she does something ratchet, we will call her ratchet as well. And I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how cute you are. So somebody wanted to accuse us of body shaming. We're not commenting on her body at all. We're saying, in our opinion, her actions are ratchet. Nobody not looked at her behind that hard. So we don't know nothing about what her body even looks like. Simone, that is the point, and we are moving on. Done and dusted. End of the story. We have Thelma, who is actually joining us this morning. Thelma is from Nicaragua, and Thelma is one of those persons who wanted to leave the island this weekend. So in case you missed this was really a bit of a situation. On Friday, we announced ahead of the press conference that the Cayman Islands government had confirmed flights to Nicaragua. So flights were going out on Friday, back and forth to Miami. So we had a flight leaving, a flight coming in, and then the World Atlantis flight, which is a charter that Cayman Islands government, Cayman Airways had chartered. That was going to overnight here in the Cayman Islands. Persons were going to be sent to quarantine. You know the routine already. We don't have to go through it every single time. And then there were 2 scheduled flights to go out of Cayman to Nicaragua on Saturday. Now, listen, we have said this before. There are governments around the world who apparently have absolutely no sense whatsoever, and they do not care about their people. Someone said to me last week that they got offended because they thought that I was saying that the Jamaican government does not want, their people to return. Hello. If I hurt your feelings, we're talking about feelings this morning, I'm not going to be passive aggressive with you. I'm going to be very, very direct with what I'm about to say. If your feelings were hurt by that, that has nothing to do with me, girlfriend, or Bobo, TD, or whatever we're going to call you this morning. That is on you. Your feelings are hurt because of some internal issues that you're dealing with your government of Jamaica, because I'm calling it as I see it, whether it's the government here in the Cayman Islands, the government in Nicaragua, or the government in Jamaica. There are countries right now who are doing nothing to get their people home. And so I want to make it very clear. Don't come for me this morning with this Jamaican versus Caymanian bullshit, because we're going to get into the conversation. And I keep telling you people that at my core, I am part Jamaican because my grandfather is a Jamaican. So don't come to me with the foolishness. I'm married into a Jamaican family. I have a Jamaican husband. Okay? So I don't want to hear this. Oh, she's prejudiced. She doesn't like Jamaicans, blah, blah, blah. If I didn't like Jamaicans, there'd be no way that I could lie my good little head down every single night next to the most wonderful Jamaican on the planet. Come again with your foolishness, folks. But I'm going to set the record straight on that in a little bit, but I do want to bring Thelma into the conversation. So there are governments who have proven that they do not care about their people. What measures has Jamaica taken to bring expatriates back from overseas? That's the only question I'm going to ask you. Nicaragua is another perfect example of a government that doesn't care about its people. They have left people stranded all over the world. Not only have they left people stranded all over the world, those of you who refuse to read need to go and read the article that we had up on, let me just pull it up here, on the website on Saturday, after we heard, or no, this is late Friday, my apologies, after we heard that the government was actually canceling the flights out, not even canceling the flights. The Nicaraguan government was closing the airports all of a sudden. Why would they do that? I want you guys to understand what the Nicaraguan government did, because this speaks volumes about governments like this. They had been peddling and pushing for tourism. Tourism the week before Easter weekend. The rest of the world is shut down. Over 100 airports around the world are completely closed. Oh no, not Nicaragua. Nicaragua is like, come on in. We want to help. We want you guys to come here and vacation. We want you to have a good time. Their government was telling people, gather in large crowds. Can you believe this? During COVID-19, their government is saying, gather in large crowds, go out, enjoy yourself, have a good time. Why would a government tell you that unless they're trying to kill their own people? Because that is putting you on a suicide mission right now. I mean, it is just unbelievable. So a day before, they're supposed to get over 100 persons returning. And the reason why they put on 2 flights is because they were trying to encourage social distancing, which when we speak to a young man who left on Friday, we're going to get some insight into the real stringent and wonderful steps that the local government and Cayman Airways has taken to encourage social distancing, even at the airport and even on the flight. So this government decides at the last minute to close the airport. Why? Because they don't want those people coming back. That's the cold hard truth. All right, Miss Thelma, give me 1 second. I just want to read a few comments. Jade, she having a laugh. Jade, what name is this? I don't even know what the fuck your name is. Excuse my language. I don't even know what that name is. Are you offended when the audience opinions differs from yours? Do I look like I care? This is what you need to understand. This is a platform that we have set up with almost 40,000 followers between Instagram and Facebook. And all 40,000 of you have an opinion. Good for you. You know what they say about opinions? Everybody has one, like everyone has you know what. You're entitled to your opinion just like anybody else. Half of the opinions that you guys want to share in our social media platform don't even get read by us because we honestly do not care. You're entitled to it. If you want to get on a social media platform and share your opinion, then do so. Good on you. Now, what I find amazing is that there are people who want to get on Facebook and have an opinion who can't even be themselves. Talk about passive aggressive, just like you, my dear. You only have a few friends. Your account was recently set up. Why? Why are you hiding? If you have an opinion, like I just said with that young lady, if you're going to shake your ass on the screen, pour milk on it, pour whipped cream on it, own it. Own it. Be who you are. There's no need to hide. There's no need to pretend to be something that you're not. We don't care. So if you have a different opinion, you're entitled to it. Shout it from the rooftops. Go on every CMR post and put up your opinion. Kudos. Good for you. It will be therapeutic for a lot of us to start expressing ourselves because we have lived for far too long in homes and environments where you cannot have an opinion. We have lived in this country where apparently having an opinion will land you in jail because somebody's going to go out there and say, oh, Sandra has hurt my feelings. This is harassment. Me having an opinion about you isn't harassment. Now, let me say this. One of the things that I find amazing is when people want to have an opinion and they want to join in on the conversation, all of a sudden they come in with this negativity Cindy was mentioning yesterday, why is it that every single time someone wants to have an opinion on a topic, they want to make it about me? So they want to come at me and have an opinion about me. And the first thing they appear to want to do is talk about my private parts. As Jamaicans say, my front. So I want to set the record straight in that, because none of you know anything about my front. You've not been there. Thank God I have a short list of people who can talk about my front, unlike the very same ones who want to talk about it. Their list is so long and so drawn out. Okay. And we know. But that's their ratchetness. That's how low in the gutter they are. Instead of sticking to the topics, they want to attack personalities and come after me. But you guys know how this goes on the Cold Hard Truth. You attack me and you try to come after me with your untruths and your lies, I'm going to definitely set the record straight. So to that young lady, she goes by the name of Pink or Pink Brian or whatever. Honey, don't come for me. As I've said before, if I didn't send for you, it's not a good idea for you to come for me, because I'm going to set the record straight. So the second you start coming for me, what happens? People start sending me your business about how you were here on a 3-month permit and jump up on some poor little Caymanian to trick him and to marry him. And that wouldn't be nothing new here in the Cayman Islands. It has happened a lot of times. So while you're talking about who I'm married to, who, by the way, you don't know anything about, because you're referring to him as an Indian. My husband is a Jamaican, you donkey. So get your facts straight. Okay? He's 100% Jamaican. So again, you don't know what you're talking about, but you're trying to come for me. Mind your own business, because it seems like you have enough of it to worry about. You're pregnant. I'm sure you don't need the stress of taking people on when it has nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing. So I don't want to come for you. I'm not going to come for you at your level, because I'm not ratchet like you. I'm not going to talk about your front, because God knows what that might be, what sort of conversation that would lead into. And you don't know anything about mine. So I would suggest you just cut the conversation. You don't have to like me, Pinks Brian. I don't care. I don't know you. You and I are not friends. We're not acquaintances. You pass me in the street, you don't even have to say hello. That's the world that we live in. I don't need to talk to you. You're entitled to your opinion, but what you're not going to do is you're not going to disrespect my Jamaican husband, my child, or my family with your lies and comments that are completely false. You don't know anything about the situation. I don't have to jump on any man, honey. That's not how this situation went. You, on the other hand, it seems like you might have been jumping on somebody a little too quick. Okay? I'm in a relationship of over 6 years, and I have been married for over 4 years. So I was married way before my child came along. The child was planned way in advance. All right, honey? We were dating way before we got married. I know my husband. I did not jump on him for status or for anything else. And he certainly didn't jump on me for status or for anything else. This is an adult relationship, which you may not know anything about, because nobody in this quadrant of Lower Valley is looking for status, honey. We're good. But I'm not going to address her any more than that, because she's really not even worth the time. Like people say, they go low, we try to go high. But sometimes they don't understand the going high. So it's like, you got to just set the record straight. Tamika, no, Sandy, I got the best Jamaican husband in the world. I feel you in that comment. Well, we can have that discussion for another day. But I'm glad to hear that, Tamika. I'm very pleased to hear that. Jade, she is, and it's not fair. We must not be offended when she speaks, but when we speak, she gets offended and block people. Jade, come on. If that was the case, you would have been blocked a long time ago, my friend. So you and many other examples prove that that is not the truth. People do not get blocked on CMR for having a different opinion. What they get blocked on CMR for is when they make comments about people's fronts, and when they attack people personally, they curse and carry on, or they threaten people. Go back, Jade, and do a search on our page for the rules that we have set out many, many moons ago about what is acceptable conduct and behavior on our page. All of these ridiculous comments that people want to get on there with, cursing, carry on like the donkeys that some of you are, turns the risk of getting not just your comment removed by Facebook, but by getting us blocked as well. I had some woman who claims that, oh, we were blocking her and her comments and blah, blah. I'm like, woman, I don't even know who you are. I'm not even reading your comments. You know who was blocking your comments since you want to be so bright and come into an arena that clearly you're not equipped with? Facebook filters comments all the time. So Jade, wake up and smell the Cayman coffee. Facebook filters your comments. And it's an automatic process, by the way. They look for certain words. They look for profanity. And of course, this woman, Miranda, as she claims, Silver, every single comment she makes, there's a F-bomb, there's a this, there's a that. And Facebook will block those. We have nothing to do with that woman. So her and her stupidity comes after us. But, oh, you're blocking my comments. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, woman. And then she tries to call out all my names. Sandra, Rocket, Solomon, Catron Hill. First of all, I was never Rocket. So once again, get your facts straight. My original name is Sandra Solomon. My father is Uric Solomon, and my mother is Pamela Rocket. Facts, people. If you try to come up with your ridiculous behavior, get your facts straight. I'm not a Rocket. I'm related to the Rockets. Okay? Those are the facts. Don't give me no name that I didn't have. So Miranda, once again, well misinformed. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, this is what I'm going to tell you. Jade, you can have an opinion all you want. It's funny how I don't see you jumping on CNS, jumping on the Compass, jumping on Cayman 27 when they're around, jumping on Loop Cayman, jumping on Caymanian Times with all of your comments. Like I said before, Cayman Mall Road is not everybody's cup of tea. So if this is not your cup of tea, Bobo, there's a whole drawer full of tea. Go and find something else that you were happy with. Maybe Loop Cayman is more your style. Maybe the Compass is more your style. Go over there and comment on their platform. They'll be glad for the comments, huh? So we don't care, but don't come with your misinformation. She says here, I can be a blogger too. Knock yourself out. Set up your own version of Cayman Mall Road. Get your 40,000 followers. Start blogging away. Who is stopping you? Do we look like we're stopping you, girlfriend? Miranda, we don't care. Do what you got to do. But you're all up in your feelings, talking about being passive aggressive and being in your feelings. You're all up in your feelings that are completely based on nonsense. Your presumption, your hypothesis that we are somehow blocking your comments is stupidity. Facebook is blocking your comments because you need to cut back on the profanity and the ridiculousness. And every single time Miranda has a conversation, it's all about attacking people. It's not about attacking the issues. And maybe you need to look at yourself in that regard. Ian says Jamaican government is doing the best to bring Jamaicans back home. We did have a place to isolate, put in place at the time because we can't have people self-isolating. That's the truth. Well, we're going to talk about exactly how much the Jamaican government is doing in just a minute. So we will go there. Walla says, Ras, me never know Jamaican body you have. Yes, my dear child. You get big up yourself and friend from today. It shouldn't, you know what, Walla, listen, it shouldn't matter who I'm with. That should not be the determining factor on whether or not you guys think that I have an issue with Jamaicans or not. But I'm just giving you the facts of how even more ridiculous that would be, given the circumstances. And everyone who knows my husband, he is a very low-key individual. He's not into the mix-up and the drama. You will never see him on Cayman Mall Road because that is not his style. But at the end of the day, he is the coolest person that you ever want to meet. And I'm not saying that just because I'm married to him. Anybody can flex with him. That's the bottom line. Now we're going to get into this whole observer story, blah, blah, blah in a bit. Let's go to Nicaragua because we have Thelma who's here on the line with us. Thelma, Good morning. My apologies for making you wait. How are you doing?
We are doing fine. We're doing good. Thank
Okay.
God.
Yes, Thelma. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you're from Nicaragua, yes?
Yes, ma'am. Nicaragua
Um,
passport, everything Nicaraguan.
you're Nicaraguan 100%.
Yep.
What happened this weekend? So, how long, first of all, have you been in the Cayman Islands?
Um, I'm here going May 20. I'm going to have 9 years since I'm here in the Cayman Island working.
So, you're here
Uh,
working for 9 years, yeah?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, beautiful. Now, what kind of work do you do?
Janitorial?
Okay. Now, have you been one of those unfortunate people that have lost your job because of this whole COVID-19?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So you're not working right now. Obviously, that
Nope.
means situation's a little tight financially.
Mm-hmm.
And you listened to the government when the government said, let's go, that you should go home, basically, if you're not working.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Yep.
right. So when you heard on last week, how were you notified? Did you contact the emergency travel
No.
airline? No.
No, they call
Okay.
me. They call me and it was like a shock. I'm like, what? When you're already, you're thinking of going home and then just seeing the clips, them just tell you that it's your flight canceled. It was so
No,
hard.
no, 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 no.
Then
Let's go
what
back.
more?
Sorry,
Hmm.
Miss Thelma. Let's back up beforehand. So before you found out about the cancellation, how did you get booked on the flight?
Oh, there is a guy who by the name of Mr. Alberto
Uh-huh.
Bryan. He
Yes.
calls and say that, Thelma, we so looking into get Cayman Airways to take you guys home. He
Mm-hmm.
said it's a lot of you guys, so the more quick you bring in your copy of your passport, and any other next Nicaraguan that you know is better for you guys to go home. And I say, what? That's the opportunity you're waiting on, because we can't go through Honduras. Honduras closed long before Nicaragua closed their
Yeah.
airport.
So
Yeah.
normally, what happens is to travel back to Nicaragua, you go through Honduras and then you do a connecting flight
Yes.
from Honduras to Nicaragua. Yeah, because Cayman
Yes,
Airways
ma'am.
doesn't have a direct connection between here and Nicaragua.
No, we doesn't have. No, no.
Yeah. So you were told, okay, this flight is on. What did you end up doing then once you heard the flight was booked?
I call them. I call
Mhm.
Cayman's Airway, and then I tell them then I was ready to pay for my flight, pay
Mhm.
for my ticket. So they said, okay, no problem. Just send us the information, and they get the payment for our flight.
Okay.
And it wasn't long. I mean, I paid on Thursday, and then Friday around 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Cayman's Airway call and said that the flight was canceled.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it did happen very quickly. I think there were a lot of things happening behind the scenes and trying to organize it.
Hmm.
So you paid $350
Yes,
for
ma'am.
that's what they said the ticket was. That CI or US? I'm trying to remember.
That was CI.
That was
In
CI.
US is three
It's
hundred
more.
and $71 and something cents.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
people paid for the ticket. Do you know how many? I mean, I think they said it was over 100 people that were booked to go. Do you know what portion of the Nicaraguan community that represents? Is that like a good number of people from Nicaragua, or is it just a little bit?
All who all who was booked and buy their ticket is Nicaraguan.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just trying to get a feeling for how big is the Nicaraguan community in the Cayman Islands?
I really don't know because I
Okay.
never get with them to see how big it is, but
Yeah.
it's really big there. But
Yeah.
some have job and some don't have job at this blank moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you were packed and ready to go. Were you renting an apartment from someone? Where were you staying?
Yes, I was renting. We was renting on Breezy Way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you give your landlord notice? You said, okay, I'm leaving the island.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
You
We give
pack
our
up your
notice and
stuff.
then we tell her that, thank you very much because, I mean, we pay our rent, but we can still tell it, the word thank you don't kill anybody. So
Yes.
we pack and we tell her, okay, well, we are not paying this rest of the month of April because we are traveling on the 18th. So I have a friend live across and says we go and put her things right there on the carport and then we wake up in the morning, we just take a bath and we go to the airport because we live close to the airport. We don't even need a ride. We can just haul our suitcase there and go.
And walk. Okay.
So when that happened, it was like a lick you get in your face. I mean, it was so hard. So
Yeah. So
yes, it
how
was.
did you find out then on Friday that, again, you're packed, you're ready to go, you've given your landlord notice? How did you find out then on Friday that the airport was closing in Nicaragua?
Well, I went online.
Hmm.
Everybody tried to see what happening, and I went on the news say that the government give close. I'm like, no way, this can't happen. I said he give us the okay to go in there. Why he do this? And I tried to contact people back home that they could go and verify to me that this place the airport is closed, and it's like is you don't know what to think. You call, you ask, you call this one, you tell this one, but at the same time, people don't have the money back home to be back and forth. When you tell them go to the airport, verify to the government, it's just hard. It's just hard for them to find that out over there. Until somebody says, yes, Thelma, the airport is closed. Only plane coming in here is cargo plane. So
Mm,
it was a shock. I
wow.
couldn't, I walk up and down. I just keep thinking, I say, my goodness, you still have good people here in Cayman that open their door to next people what really, really, really need it.
Yeah. So what did you end up doing when you heard on Friday that this was canceled? Because I mean, what did your landlord say? Were you able to move back in or no?
No, she said she want her place. Well, we already cleaned the place, so
Yeah.
she didn't come to us approach and say, well, you can leave or you can stay until your flight get through. Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Wow. Oh
God
my
bless them,
gosh.
you know.
It's horrible.
Yep.
Absolutely horrible.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what are people in Nicaragua saying? Have you spoken to like anyone there?
Oh yes, oh yes. I don't stop. I keep calling. I
Mhm.
call all who I know that I know have job with government, and they said they are trying their best to see what they can do. But um, part of where we is on the coast side. Where is the Pacific is where the plane would go. But now
Mhm.
they tell me last night why you don't suggest said that on the in Bluefields have a big airport. Why we don't go there? I said, I don't know if Cayman Zero would risk to go and go to Bluefields. I don't know because I'm not a pilot, so I can't tell them how. But they say the airport is big. The one in Puerto Cabeza is a very big airport too. So
Mhm.
they can pick the one on the island is a very big airport. We has an
Mhm.
island, the current island, and the plane can pitch there because a big plane pitch there with cargo. So I don't know what the opinion is or what the measurement is to
Mhm.
go and pitch on the island or on the north side, which is Port
Mhm.
Puerto Cabeza, or Bluefields, which we have a big airport there. The only thing the government try not for the coast side to get any international flight come in. They only give it in the news and say, oh, we're going to try to make international flight go to the coast side, but it never
Mhm.
happened. It never happened. Never happened.
Why do you think? Obviously, you would know more about the Nicaraguan government. Why do you think that they decided to close the airport on Friday when this entire time, not only was the airport open and the borders open, but they were saying stuff like tourists must come in, come here to vacation. They're telling people, go and hang out in large gatherings, party. do all of this stuff. Like, I don't know a whole lot about the Nicaraguan government, so I'm not trying to get into your affairs. But this president, Daniel Ortega, and his administration was actually ignoring every single thing that the global health experts were giving out in terms of advice. So social gathering is supposed to be a big no. Like, you don't get in large crowds right now. You stay home, you practice
Mhm.
social distancing. They have implemented none of that in Nicaragua. And not only have they not implementing it, but according to the Human Rights Watch, they were actually encouraging people to do the opposite. It's like they're sending the Nicaraguan
Exactly.
people on a suicide mission. So that is
Exactly.
even their decision on Friday to very last minute close the airport is even more shocking in light of their behavior leading up to that.
But if you goes into the news, Nicaragua news, it's not only us they stop us to get into Nicaragua. You have a group of Nicaraguan that was launched in El Salvador that was working there, and they beg ride, and the government send them on a big bus and then put them to Honduras, and Honduras put them on a next bus and put them to the front air. That is where the bus, far as there, the bus could have left those people. And they only have to move a gate or a piece of line, board, cloth, whatever, and cross over into Nicaragua government, into Nicaragua territory, and they don't do it.
Mhm,
They keep those people reach there Saturday at
mhm,
12 or little after 12, and those people is out there now to on a frontier. You don't have no food, no water, no, and the police them is there with gun. I mean, I
mhm.
sorry those people. I really sorry for them because it's nothing over that side, and those people is there can't go into or in their own country. So then, where we stand, my dear, where we stand
Wow. It's
is
horrible.
disgusting.
Yeah.
It's really disgusting. I mean, he comes in like if he don't care, and then when he give his speech, he talk about love and harmony. I want to know where the love and the harmony is. Where the love and the harmony is. I don't know where it is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's just part of life, and we just have to see how take it easy. As I would send out message to all the next Nicaraguan that is on the limb to go home to, is that don't make your blood pressure go up, and eat
Mm-hmm.
a little and try just to survive and keep calm. That is all I can say.
Yeah. Now, someone sent me a petition. I don't know if you're aware of this, that was being circulated by a group of Nicaraguans asking the government to please, reconsider what they have done because, they're like, this is not fair to the Nicaraguan people.
Yes, I see that, and then I always talk to Mr. Alberto, and that's the guy. I say, Mr. Alberto, please, you go through all who you could go through, but is really hard for him to keep calling Nicaragua because Nicaragua, not everybody has a WhatsApp. You has to call direct line, and it's expensive, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nobody there to help him and his phone bill to be calling Nicaragua just for us. He's not from Nicaragua, but he love us, and he said, I always do charter. You guys always use me to go back and forth, go to your country one time in the year, come back and still working. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. Mr. Alberto Bryan doing all his best, and those guys went to him, and he's still trying to get us home. I'm so thankful to him to keep up, because I like some other people would say, kick it off. You guys just stay here, whether you make it or you sleep or you eat or whatever. But he's still trying. He's still trying to get us home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is sad. This is very, very
Yeah,
sad.
really sad.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to happen next, Miss Thelma?
Well, we every night you pray, every time you read the news, every time. The only thing I keep thinking, keep a positive mind, and one day he has to open the airport one day.
Yeah.
So then, and hope. hoping that when they open the airport, Cayman Island don't have their things together, and I could get work and keep working, because then it don't make no sense. You're rushing going home and he don't have anything to give us.
Wow. Miss Thelma, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to say, I mean, I don't have anything to do with the Nicaraguan government, obviously, but I'm still very sorry for
Yes,
the predicament, the situation that you're in.
yeah.
You know, I think the Cayman Islands government and the Cayman Airways was trying its best
I
to.
know, and I thankful to them. I really thankful to them. But the way how I see it is like, boy, other people love you more than your own place where you born. You
Sometimes
know.
that's the truth. What's the saying that a man isn't a hero in his own land or something like that? Yeah.
Exactly. But no, sometimes you come out. Why you think I leave Nicaragua? I was teaching there, and what I was gaining $190 or $95 per month. I come here and I work as a janitorial, and I make that per week.
Yeah.
So what it is, this is my second rollover. I mean, hell no. If I want, as how some people say, oh, you look to get married. Married what? Married don't fill my bank account.
Yeah.
Married don't fill my bank account. I have to work to fill my bank account. I
Yeah.
have to work to have what I have, a little house, and I thank God for it, and keep working.
Yeah.
But if
And
immigration
you're,
is
unlike some
here,
other people, Miss Thelma, you're not jumping on nobody for status.
no, no, ma'am. I told you, I worked 9 years with Hughes, and
Yeah.
well work. I didn't thief anybody. I
Mm,
get more friend than what you could think of, and I live good. I come back and I work from one here to the next, and the last few 2 years, I believe, I working with a small janitorial, but with this now, everything just gone. With just gone, and my time, my rollover is up. So, and something Caymans have to do about this rollover business. This don't make no sense. No sense, because if that was the case, I don't have a problem staying here, paying my pension, paying my insurance, and live till I ready old or whatever, and continue living Cayman because it's a nice place to live. Nobody disturb you. You live underneath a tree, you pay your rent, or you have a breadfruit tree, you eat from that, and you plant your pepper tree, and everything you can do here. Nobody disturb you. Not like in your own home you're running from.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, my dear. Thank you so
Okay.
much again
You're
for
welcome.
joining us. I think it's important for people to understand, you know, what the situation is, and our heart goes out to you. You know, you're in the Cayman Islands, so of course you're not going to starve. We know that that is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
fact.
Oh no, I'm not
Um,
starving. That I'm not doing. I'm
yeah,
not starving.
yeah.
Okay, my
So
dear,
thank
you
you again.
take care,
All right, my
and
dear.
thank you.
All right, darling. Be
Bye.
safe. Okay.
Bye. You too. Bye bye.
All right, folks. Um, that's one story. That's so incredibly sad. And there's a lot of stories coming out of this COVID-19 situation that honestly, you know, the people are going to, in my opinion, get a real eye opener about a number of different things. You know, we have governments all over the world that the truth is the government doesn't always care about the people. And I don't want people on here trying to defend governments, because governments will shock us at the most, you know, shocking of times. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Nicaraguan government, in my opinion, purposely closed the airport to prevent their own people from coming in, which is a disgrace. In light of the fact that before that, they didn't care what was happening and what was going on, it's very telling the type of government that they are. So we have other guests that's going to be joining us this morning. I already see one of them is ready to be queued in. So let me just read a few of your comments. Hopefully Ms. Thelma has seen a lot of the encouraging comments that have come in for her. Ms. Debbie says, Thelma, I feel your pain. I've known her for years and she's a very nice person. Praying that everything works out for her. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but there's over 100 people who are in the exact same situation as Miss Thelma. They are stranded now here in the Cayman Islands because their government in Nicaragua made a decision not to allow their citizens to come in. Listen, this isn't a situation where the Nicaraguan governments were closed and they had to reopen the borders. The borders have been open. They've been encouraging tourists to come in. And all of a sudden, he knows that 2 flights from the Cayman Islands with 100 people. Now, what's the population of Nicaragua? I mean, honestly, what is 100 of your people returning? Let me see here. Nicaragua population 2020, 2019, 2020. I mean, 100 people is what? Like, what would be the big deal? Nicaragua has 6.62 million people, and you don't want 100 more of your people to come in? It's ridiculous. Troy says, bless up, Miss Thelma from a Jamaican. Bless up, no worry, Guan. Hold it. We all have to hold it right now. And again, part of my concern about holding it is everyone thinks, I saw somebody commented earlier, I don't even know who that was. Oh, it's not that Jamaica doesn't want its people, but they're trying to arrange stuff like the airports and blah, blah, blah. What Cayman has resources. Listen to me. Let me try to break it down for you. Because a lot of you are woefully misinformed about Cayman's resources. You come to the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands looks polished compared to a lot of other people. Are we more fortunate than Haiti, a lot of places in Jamaica, Honduras, Nicaragua? Of course, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there's a misconception that we have unlimited resources and we can take care of everybody. Cayman struggles to take care of its own. You want the cold hard truth? Don't be fooled by the polished brass that's pretending to be gold. It's not gold. We have our own issues. We have our own poverty. We have our own, financial woes as a country, as a government. So the truth of the matter is, Cayman is not in a position to take care of all of the expats that have lost their job because of tourism, all of the expats related industries, whether it's like Miss Thelma, you work in, the janitorial business. A lot of those have to let people go. They might be cleaning hotels. They might be cleaning businesses that are now shut down and they have no contracts. The companies cannot keep those people. We saw last week, Kirk Freeport has started letting people go. You know how many 100 people Kirk Freeport employs? No cruise ships, no airlines coming in. 80% of Kirk Freeport's business comes from tourism. They can't survive on the 20%. They can't even pay their staff on the 20%. So it makes no sense for them to keep their doors open. So they have to shut down. They have to let staff go. So for those of you who think, Cayman is in a better position to take care of everyone, including expats, you're mistaken. We're in no better position than Jamaica. It's just that we have pulled up our bootstraps. The hotels have said, you know what? We're closed anyway. We will allow you to use some of our facilities at a cost. It was not free. And the Cayman Islands government picked up that tab. Okay, so the Jamaican government is going to take a slightly different approach. They have said, we'll get a hotel, but we're not picking up the tab 100%. You're going to pay towards your hotel bill. As a matter of fact, it seems like you might be paying the full bill based on what your prime minister has said. The information is out there, folks. Go and read it. I'm not here to try to make any government look bad. The Jamaican prime minister has said he will not allow a ship. The ship is now in the UK as of yesterday. It was in Jamaica last week. He would not allow those people to come off the ship. He said no, no, and no. Even before that, what was he saying? We're not likely to open our borders or open our airports to let anybody back in. Okay. Well, guess what President Trump did? Now, you guys know I'm no fan of President Trump, but even a broken clock is right twice a day. So the clock is broken and it says midday. Well, it's going to be right at midday and it's going to be right at midnight. Trump said, oh, you don't want to take your deportees back? Well, here's the real score. I don't care. And we know President Trump and I are always playing with a full deck. He says, I don't care what you want to say, Jamaica Prime Minister. I don't care what your policies are. If you do not take your people back, you know what we're going to do? Oh, what do we have dangling over here that you want? It's called an American visa. If you don't think that we will shut down our embassy in Jamaica and see to it that your people never get another visa again to come to the States, don't play with me. That's pretty much what Trump said. And guess what? Oh, okay. All right, we'll make arrangements to take him back. What was that? So Trump had to act the fool and threaten the Jamaican Prime Minister with pulling your visas. You know how that would impact Jamaicans not being able to go to the US to travel? All of a sudden, yes, we'll take the deportees back. You never had a choice. Now, of course, Cayman, we're so soft. You know, we don't have the resources to say, what are we going to say? We're not going to allow Jamaicans back in a work permit? Well, we tried that before. We saw how well that worked out. You know, we're supposed to have a cordial relationship with the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Him and Alden supposed to be bosom buddies. Okay. And yet, you know why there's no confirmed flight to Jamaica yet? Let's just be honest here. Because the Prime Minister's saying, no, you keep them, Alden. You take care of the people. You think the Prime Minister, with all due respect, Andrew Holness, is going to send the Cayman's government a check to say, can you use this to help take care of the Jamaicans in Cayman? No. And we do not have unlimited resources. We see European countries just over the weekend suing China and sending China a bill for $6 billion or something ridiculous. Let me tell you exactly what it is, because I don't want you guys to claim say I'm peddling in fake news, because you know you love that term in this day and age. Check this out. This is express.co.uk. So it says Germany sends China a bill for 130 billion pounds for what they claim is coronavirus damages. Now, you know, China ain't paying that. But I thought nonetheless that it was interesting and funny, ironic that Germany would even do that. Who is Cayman going to be sending the bill to? Who are we going to be billing for trying to take care of nationals from elsewhere? And this has nothing to do with us hating on anybody. So let's just set the record straight. As long as you remain in the Cayman Islands, you are not going to starve. That much we know. Just like I told Miss Thelma, there will be people here who will dig deep and who will help her. But as the situation gets worse, and it's going to get worse, folks, we're not anywhere near the clear. Our border is not opening anytime soon. I really want people to get that out of their heads. So as the situation continues to progress and to get worse, you will have tensions around the world rising. We see right now in China, they're going on about, oh, they don't want Black people, which, to be honest, I didn't really know that there were any large number of Black people in China, to be honest. I was a bit surprised by that. However, I guess people of color all over the world, now they're going on claiming that it's the Black people who are spreading the coronavirus. It's like, what? Are you serious, China? Then the Black people say, well, okay, if you're going to take that attitude halfway around the world in Nigeria and other places, we're going to start burning down Chinese businesses. People have lost their minds in a time like this. And at some level, we're able to understand it from a human nature perspective. When people are fearful, when you're in the middle of a pandemic, people start to get crazy and they start to do things that ordinarily they wouldn't do. And some of that is xenophobic. Some of it is straight up prejudice. And so, yes, we're going to expect those emotions to start to come to the surface for people. Just seeing some of your comments here. Everybody, again, is telling Ms. Thelma to hang in there. Diane says he's the worst government ever in Nicaragua. Prayers for Miss Thelma. What happened to the insurance? How many people going to pay it? Arlene, I'm not sure what insurance, if you can clarify. Sue says absolutely unbelievable how some governments treat their own people. So cruel. Tashika says, I see Trump doing some bull like this. Well, I mean, Trump is always up to something. But I tell you what he did do is he said to Jamaica, you were taking your people whether you want them or not. It wasn't an option. You know what I'm saying? Kathy, this is why we need to listen and do what is being asked of them so that these countries can begin to recover. There are people like her that are stuck in this situation. Damien, good morning. Jamaican news saying that Cayman Islands. All right, Damien, we are going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Don't worry. We will leave plenty of time in the conversation for that. Ruth says to Nicaragua, worst president we've ever had. They want the money, but not their own people. Very sad. Leslie, Cayman does not have the resources to be holding their own and everyone else's. And people don't get that. We are so much smaller, but it also means that we do have very limited resources. You know, so do not be fooled. This is real talk. Lots of comments coming in. I just lost track of where we were. My apologies. Debbie, real talk. Jobless, homeless, permit holders. Yes, Damien, we're going to get to that. Odette says the Jamaican government is full of, we're going to talk about that some more. Mallory says Cayman can't take care of their own. Cayman is in no position to take care of anyone. Expats should feel lucky that they're able to stay here and get a one-off stipend. Some Caymanians won't even qualify for that. And the truth of the matter is, Mallory, is that there are Caymanians who on a daily basis are being turned down for NAU assistance, who are actually in need, and they cannot get the need that the help that they need. And so when we start to think ahead, as some of us are doing, a year after this crisis, what this crisis will do to economies around the world, not just from the perspective of the stop of income coming in, but all the expenditure of healthcare, of testing, of, you know, putting people in hospital facilities, of having to feed people, all of this will have a trickle-down effect, and we're going to be in a hell of a financial situation. So Christian says, Sandy, that's not true. I don't know what you're referring to. You might need to be a little bit more specific. Zita, he mean every Caribbean country, not only Jamaica. I'm not sure who he is and what every Caribbean country, not only Jamaica. I don't know what that means. The prime minister found out about the ship after it left Jamaica. Actually, sir, you need to read your facts. The prime minister told them no. He was not letting them get off board. You don't have to believe me. Go to your Jamaican newspaper and read it for yourself. I will find the link and put in here. They reported that the ship had requested. Ships you don't just have a ship drive by and a day later be like, oh yeah, we saw you drive by. That's not how it works. For them to even come in your waters, you get advance notice. You know that they're coming. Let's pick a little sense from nonsense here, folks. And he knew that there were Jamaican workers on that ship, and they requested for them to come off. And the prime minister, the government of Jamaica, said no. N-O. As a matter of fact, we had some of them reach out to us and send us footage from on the cruise ship to show the living conditions and what was going on the ship. So I'm not really asking you how this goes, Chris-Ann. No, we don't twist the facts. Who are you talking about? He wasn't only referring to Jamaica, he's referring to the Caribbean. Who are you talking about? Who is he? If you're talking about President Trump with this situation with Jamaica, you need to get your facts straight. There's no need for me to have to make this stuff up. Like, what do I gain from making this up? Hold on a second. Let me send you the news since you don't want to believe it. Okay. Let us see here. Trump And it's amazing the people that don't even bother to read themselves and then they want to accuse us of peddling in fake news. It's like, really? Are you serious? April the 18th, we did a story of the weekend. Jamaicans petitioned their governments to allow residents back in. Why would that be happening if that wasn't the case, if you were able to go back in? Let's back it up here. There's more than one article. So that petition you can find on change.org. Go and look it up for yourself. Let me just see. Okay, Jamaica to receive scores of deportees following recent Trump administration memorandum. So the Trump administration issued a memo on Friday, April the 10th, threatening to impose visa sanctions against countries, including Jamaica, that did not accept their citizens if they are repatriated. The latest memorandum means that Jamaica could see the arrival of scores of repatriated citizens, and these are deportees. So these are not law-abiding citizens, by the way. And this is despite the closure of Jamaican airspace to incoming passengers. So Minister with responsibility for national security, Horace Chang, said that a group of deportees is expected on the island later this month. And again, it goes into the details of what had happened here. Now, what you need to do is read this in context. So you need to go back to when the Prime Minister actually said, and I'll have to find it for you, that he was not going to be accepting his own people. So just hold on. We can find that story for you as well. It's all there. Let me see. Because the Prime Minister said he never wanted that's the truth. And that's why we have not been able to make such arrangements yet. Okay, April the 9th. Jamaican government faces backlash after refusing ship with nationals on board. Again, it's a lie to say that they didn't know about it until afterwards. This is what it says. The government of Jamaica has come under heavy criticism from the public and a member of the parliamentary opposition after it refused entry to a ship that had approximately 40 Jamaicans on board. It was reported by the Jamaican Gleaner that the ship, which is called the Morella Discovery 2, was nearby the island and had sought permission from the government to return the Jamaican nationals aboard home. The ship had refueled and was awaiting docking clearance. However, the clearance never came, and the ship left the port a day later. So again, who was it that had that bit of misinformation? Chris? Wrong information, sir. You check your facts. Stop accusing other people of fake news when you don't even have the basics right yourself. They did not find out about the ship after it left. They refused to allow the ship in. El Rey wants to know if we can send a bill too. Oh, I'm sure we can send one, but they ain't paying it. All right, listen, we've got our friend here. I'm sorry for the delay. We're going to go ahead and bring him into the conversation. My apologies. I don't want to mispronounce your name, but is it Gassan?
You got it right. Yes, Gassan Jibawe. That's it.
Okay, awesome. I don't want to be like the Minister of Health, like butchering languages and names. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for taking me, and thanks for you have very interactive fans here. I see.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing.
They're all over the conversation. Sometimes there's so many comments coming in that I have to like fast forward through the comments and then see if I can go back.
So I can see the way you're going through the comments, and you're just like, let me try going over every single one of them.
I know. Someone's asking about St. Kitts and Nevis, so we'll get back to some of those a little bit later. Klein claims I sound like Trump, even though I hate him, which is funny. But like we said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Klein, if you think I sound like Trump, okay then, whatever. And I don't hate Trump. I just don't agree with his policies 99% of the time. So lots of discussion here, Gassan, about people going back and forth. Now, let's talk about your situation because, you know, this is a real life situation that people are dealing with, right? So you were here in the Cayman Islands. Tell us exactly what it is that you were doing.
Absolutely. So first of all, I feel like it's more fair to. I feel for all the people who are stuck on the island or worldwide. Just everyone knows that this is not only your personal thing; it's worldwide happening. A lot of mass. We're not used to such a pandemic like this. So just stay strong about it. You know, keep it positive. That's the best approach to approach such a situation. My situation was as stressful as others. Honestly, I have family here in Chicago that I need to take care of and stay close to. And I was a medical student. I am in a St. Matthew Medical School, in the Cayman Island, and the school shut down. Of course, everything shut down at this point. And we were trying to get back home, all of us, all the students, and there was no flights. There was a lot of flights actually, but every time they get canceled, delayed. My bank account was like a few $100s just in hold for money to be returned because a lot of cancellation. I reached out to a lot of officials and a lot of newspapers actually, and I'm thankful to you. You're the only one who actually was willing to listen. Hey, what's going on? Tell me, you know. So I really appreciate that. I would love to mention the names of people who actually saw. I don't want to mention it on your broadcast.
Yeah.
A lot of other newspapers like actually saw my messages. I'm pretty sure they received a lot of other messages, but I'm not sure if they went over it or they didn't even care about it. But so thank you for you and all your fans. Just know that she's a real one here. You know, she actually.
Thank you. And for the record, I've never met you before. I don't know people as possible. You know, when we get messages, we try to respond in a timely fashion. And there's a lot of things that even sometimes we do behind the scenes that people don't know about, you know, how we help people resolve issues. Because, you know, it's not about trying to get attention for ourselves, but I appreciate the recognition of you saying that, you know, you reach out to other people and, you know, we were the only ones who responded, basically.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, my trip from the Cayman Island, I honestly felt like the Cayman Island, from government to people, are handling the situation greatly. Honestly, especially the government. I want to be honest, like the way the control. I know it's really hard on the Caymanians. Of like the Caymans used to freedom and going out, but I know it's hard on them. But they're handling the situation very, like, for general knowledge people, you'll see them just keeping distance and covering themselves. So that's amazing to see the people are actually taking personal responsibility towards it. The airport actually, they did such a clean job with getting us through. With a smile, always. That's a Cayman thing, yes. So yeah, the airport, like a lot distance between every single person. They had 2 flights that day, I know. And so they made sure that people from the first flight do not actually have to interact with the second flight. So that was genius, you know.
How did you let's back up just a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you messaged us one day to say, listen, we're trying to get out. You're an American, yes?
Yes, I am.
And you were trying to return to the US. You know, school is closed. You need to get back to your family. There's things there that you basically need to do.
Yeah.
And what happened next? Like, how did you find out that a flight was actually being put on that would allow you to return back home?
So you came to us like an angel, you know. So what happened is, so I actually, before I went to contact the newspaper, I wanted to reach level by level to the officials. So I actually was helpless till I reached the newspapers and yourself.
Mm.
So so I reached the embassy, I reached the hotline. We filled up a form. It was a lot of us students, and I understand the hotline was very busy.
Uh-huh.
So what I did, I contacted them. I took a form, made a PDF, and sent it to all the U.S. citizens and what whoever can get that form, hands on. So I sent you the so I received no response from them, zero, nothing.
Yeah.
And I had a flight that day on Sunday, which is basically yesterday. And it's funny because there's a hard curfew. Mr. Alden, I think he said was happening. So I'm like, how are they gonna allow us to go to the airport? There's no movement in the island. So I reached out to you, and from there, within a day, honestly, I was shocked. My friend, she's a big fan of you, and she just screenshot a post you sent about the Nicaraguan and the U.S. flight to go ahead and call the Cayman Airways. So I went ahead and called, and it wasn't really hard to get a flight. Honestly, they were trying their best to get us out of here, out of the island.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So it all started to come together then at that point.
Oh, the post. I don't know if you can see the post where you said, call the Cayman Airway
Yeah.
to book flight. Oh, well, from that point, everything like was determined. The problem earlier was there's no determination. Like you'll see flight cancel on and off. You see officials saying, yeah, there's flight. Then the next day there's no flights. Oh, tomorrow you can go out. No, the next day, oh no, you can't. Change in mind. You know.
Yeah.
But
Did you
that is
mention
a
that you booked, how many flights did you book and they all got canceled?
I said 12, but trust me, it's more like 15, 20. I just
Wow.
said 12 rooms that got out of my bank, but I got my money back, so I'm
Yeah.
not letting them
Yeah,
have
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it was just really difficult to try to get out.
Oh, imagine just like trying your best and hearing that the airport is gonna be shut completely till May 20. So I feel that people who are going through this right now, I absolutely feel them.
Yeah. So Yaniki says that, the sad part is every country is worried and focused on their own, but Miss Mall Road, you seem to be focused on what's going on in Jamaica. You want to rebroadcast our news, watch all of our daily updates, and get your facts straight before you spread propaganda. So Yaniki, let us break it down for you, since you seem to be missing some critical information about why anybody in Cayman should care about what's happening in Jamaica. First of all, you must not live here, because if you lived in the Cayman Islands, you would know that 50% or more of the Caymanian population are actually Jamaicans. So, duh. If you have a population that is 50% plus being Jamaican nationals, what happens in Jamaica and what happens to Jamaicans is very important to Caymanians. And there's a lot of us, like myself, who have Jamaican relatives and in-laws and family. So we're very much connected. And that's why we care. And that's why we have taken the extraordinary step of bringing on board a regional correspondent who actually lives in Jamaica so that she can know what's going on. She has her pulse on the community there. But you know what I find about Jamaicans, and I don't know why this is, Jamaican are very prideful people, but they always don't live in reality. So anytime you say something about them, they get offended, like, oh, you're trying to insult us. Okay, if your newspaper says on April the 16th, Marella Discovery 2's debacle, a failure of obligations, and it goes on for a long time talking about how the ship was turned away and how this was a failure on the government of Jamaica, and we share that, all of a sudden we're like horrible and bad people. It's like, Gashan, sorry, this is not related to what you're saying at all, but I just want to address this point while we're on it. Yaniki, here's the thing, right? When people say something to us and we take it as an insult or we get upset about it, it says more about us and about what we need to be looking at than anything else. It doesn't even make any sense that you should get insulted. Of course, people here in the Cayman Islands worry about what happens in Jamaica, because over 50% of the population are Jamaican nationals. And then there's another 20% of the Caymanian population that are still Jamaicans who've acquired status, married into Caymanian families, and intertwined. For as long as there has been history, there's been an intertwining of Cayman and Jamaica. So when people say, like, why do we focus on Jamaica? Why do we care?
50%.
Once we were practically the same country. We were managed by Jamaica. So it shows your lack of understanding. And, you know, you think that Jamaica lives in isolation. You know, we have so many examples that we can draw upon where something happens in Jamaica and Cayman is directly impacted by that, and vice versa. So that type of commentary is just ridiculous, and it shows how small-minded people are. Okay, so Jamaica Gleaner is now a propaganda newspaper. Whatever. Listen, people, I don't really care. We will continue to report the news. We do not rely on just the Jamaican Gleaner for news. We get news from all over the world on Jamaica. I'm sorry if you feel like people are trying to belittle you. That's your opinion. And like I said, an opinion is, everybody has one, just like, you know what? And so you're entitled to it. Who cares? The most amazing thing, though, if you're so offended and you think that I'm always going after Jamaicans, I'm trying to belittle Jamaicans, why are you here? Why would you allow someone who you claim is insulting your country, insulting Jamaicans, to be in your ear every single morning? What are you doing here? Like, I'm just wondering. That sounds like some sort of self-torture to me. There are other newspapers, there's other platforms. Go look at the Compass. They'll hardly ever report anything on Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? Don't stress yourself out. Even the Jamaican Observer. So for those of you who are claiming that the Jamaican Gleaner is propaganda, are you also going to say the exact same thing about the Jamaican Observer? Because there's a link for that one as well. And it says another rejection. Go look it up, folks. We don't have to make this stuff up. Nobody's here trying to make Jamaica look bad. So this story is on the 13th, so days before that editorial. And there are Jamaicans quoted in this story saying Jackson, whoever this person is, said no Jamaican should be denied entry to their country of origin, especially in a time of global uncertainty. And this is what he said. He's obviously one of the workers on the ship. He said, irrespective of the powers granted under the Disaster Risk Management Act, every Jamaican has the right of entry into the island, and that right should not be arbitrarily denied to anyone without an appropriate plan of action for their protection. Gassan, you're an American. Were the Americans telling you that you couldn't come back?
Where is it?
Were the Americans telling you that you couldn't come back?
I mean, it's really hard to tell who says who, you know. At the end of the day, like, it's much higher than what we can do. It's very important that everyone is raising their voice and they're raising their right to determine whether they're going back home or not. But honestly, I really do not know who made the final decision of getting us back home. Maybe you can tell me.
I mean, listen, the Cayman Islands government is doing its best to try to arrange flights all over the world to make sure that people can go home if they wish. So Torian claims that report the news from the Philippines are a lot of them who came in as well. The irony of that is there's nowhere near the Filipinos here than there are Jamaicans. However, since you must know Torian, from well over a year ago, we've been in talks with people in the Filipino community about having a Filipino section of Cayman Mall Road. So then you're going to get upset about that too? Are you going to be complaining about that as well? I mean, really? Over the weekend, we posted an article about some Americans on a beach somewhere in the States. Again, the beach was reopened and they were not practicing social distancing. A few of the Americans got upset. Oh, you don't like Americans. I'm just like, oh my God. We live in a world where you can't say anything about anyone without people getting all up in their feelings. And again, if you're insulted by someone, the beauty of living in the 21st century is you don't have to pay attention to them. I don't have to listen to Trump. I don't have to listen to Fox News. There are tons of other news options out there for me to be able to read and get the news that I want. So instead of you guys making your blood pressure go up every single day, go find another news source. Cayman Mall Road obviously isn't for you if you think that we're being prejudiced against you. We don't really care. You're not doing anything by going somewhere else to us. It's cool. We're all right. It's going to be A-okay. Now, Gassan, I want to share a video that you sent to us. I'm going to just bring this up here. This was on Friday. I think you sent it Saturday morning. So let me Yes, this is the airport video. And so I'm going to bring this up in the screen here. But this is you at the airport, just giving us a live view of exactly what the airport looked like.
Yes.
My name is Gassan Jibawi, and this is my friend Peter. They're having a social distancing, like 3 seats between each 2 people. 2 seats, 3 seats, 10 seats. They're doing a great job with that. They force us to wear the masks, so it's amazing. Clean lines and everything. It's not busy. We just want to thank you. We had amazing experience here at the Cayman Island, and ECMR made the best out of it. When we asked you for your help, you were there for us. So we really appreciate all that you did, and even your posts about us. To call the Cayman Airway to book our emergency tickets. That's what saved our lives. So thanks again. Appreciate you. Be safe, Cayman.
Okay, so that was a little footage there from Friday of you getting on the plane. So you went from here to Miami. Now, where in the States are you?
I am in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people say it's cold. It was snowing like a week ago.
Oh, really? Already?
Let me show you outside. I mean, right now it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful. But so yeah, right now I'm in Chicago. Right now, yeah, I spent a night in Miami because flights were a bit expensive that day. So
okay,
the next day. But yeah.
The weather looks beautiful there.
Where is it?
No, I said the weather looks beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous here. I'm telling you, Chicago's a beautiful city. Yeah. One day you gotta visit us. Maybe you can make some news, write some news about Chicago next.
Yeah.
We'll ask you, why do you not write about Chicago?
I'm sure we have covered them, because at the end of the day, Chicago is actually one of the harder hit areas when it comes to COVID-19.
Yes.
So we have covered them in the news. A lot of people don't. Again, they only read it if it's relevant to them. But yeah, these are facts. I mean, Washington, Seattle area got hit very, very hard. New York, of course, is the hardest hit in the U.S. I haven't checked the figures for the day as yet, but I know New York had the most deaths. In fact, let me just see if I can bring up some figures here for New York. New York had something like, I think the state of New York had the most deaths, and in some instances, more than some other countries. Like their infection rate was amazingly high for New York. And then Chicago also has quite high numbers within the continental US as well. So what's the Louis says it's 41 degrees in Detroit. So that's nice and crispy weather. That's probably a sweater. So what is what's the feeling like there from people about how they're dealing with COVID-19?
Here's whatever happens in the state, I feel like it gets exactly the same response in the Cayman Island, but delayed. You know, even
Yeah.
the napkin crisis, it happened in the States 2 weeks after it happened in the island. So I feel like everything, whatever happened in the island, happened in here exactly. I
Yeah.
think that, but what I think is amount of control the Cayman government having on the people there is much better, more advanced than here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like even the masks in the airports, like we were of course like everyone, like no one was, everyone will look at you like, what are you doing if you take a mask on away at the Cayman airport? But
Yeah.
in Miami airport I saw some people taking off their masks, and I
Right.
mean it's a law that you have to put a mask on, but a lot of people just tend to ignore it, you know. So yeah, I mean, same vibe. So at this point I honestly think everyone just, this is not gonna end by today or tomorrow or a week, or I don't, no one knows how long it's gonna take. So just look at it positively, and instead of looking for the news that you're gonna give yourself headache or you're gonna go against, just look whatever that you agree with and just stay positive and smile. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's, otherwise you're gonna burn your energy early. So
Okay. All right. Gassan, thank you so much for
thank you.
joining
Thank
us.
you for sure. Thank you. And my friend Oleg was supposed to join us, but
Yes.
he's studying for step. We wish him good luck, I guess.
Yes. No problem
272.
at all.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Thank you for the viewers, all of them. Yes. And
yeah.
stay safe, everyone.
Okay. And keep us updated on how things are going. And, I think it's going to be a while. What is the medical school here saying to students about when they might reopen? It's probably going to
Uh,
be a while.
it's really hard for them to say anything at this point, because we have, over our school we have the Cayman government, and
Mhm.
over the Cayman government this virus, how long it's gonna stay. So it's really hard for anyone to determine anything yet. But
Okay.
we know for a fact that the summer is gonna be online courses. They have special software, and like we do on the Zoom and some others for laboratories. So it's
Okay.
gonna be online semester most likely, so far. Otherwise, we'll see depending on the escalation and if it get better or anything.
Right. So we have a question here from a viewer specifically for you that says, ask him what TSA was like with the distancing. So normally, TSA, they're like right on top of you and they pat you down and they're touching all your stuff. And did you notice anything different this time with how they handle people?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because there was again less people. How many people were on the flight? 69 or something like that. I really forgot the
Mhm.
number. It's very small number compared to normally how much, like 500 people get at the airport or whatever. So base that the whole time I feel like there is like more than 6 feet away. No, like there was never less than 6 feet someone close to me, even the security. TSA was, they did their job normally, but they didn't pat us or anything, So I think their practiced making sure I go through very safely.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you so much. Again, I appreciate it.
Maybe
Please.
anyone else have any question? Let's
Yeah.
see.
Carlos says TSA.
Sure,
Do
sure.
not
Fact,
joke with that.
facts, Carlos.
Troy is still going on and on and on about the Jamaican people. Oh my gosh. Jamaican people are very sensitive, some of you, like seriously. It's like last week a lady was on here talking about back road and prostitution, and all of a sudden they blew up about, oh, that does not exist. We have to be honest in ourselves. Oh my God, it has nothing to do with you being a Jamaican, folks. Get over yourselves already. Um, Louise says, look at the confirmed case numbers in Haiti and deaths with no social distancing. We're going to talk about that because not every place in the world should you believe their numbers. So Nicaragua claims that they only have 9 persons infected. Can we call BS straight up on that? That couldn't be farther from the truth. So we're waiting on Debbie. Gassan, again, thank you so much.
For
Enjoy the
sure.
beautiful day.
Thank
Uh,
you, everyone.
walk around the block. Just keep your social distancing from everyone else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
Take care. All right. So, Haiti, there's certain countries that we know are not bothering to even report the numbers. I suspect Haiti is probably one of those countries. It's probably just another day for them. Like, hey, people are going to die. Who cares? Kind of an attitude. China has fudged their numbers. Nicaragua, there's no way that they only have 9 cases. Places like Russia, North Korea has reported no cases at all. No cases in North Korea, according to their government. So, we rely on governments to put the information together and to provide the accurate numbers to us. But we know that that isn't always happening. Even in certain parts of the US, there has been a number of reports that, a lot of numbers are off. Sometimes it's not about purposely misleading the people. It may be a situation of where they weren't really tabulating the numbers because they were still thinking in February and January that they had no cases in the US, when all of the evidence now points to the fact that they definitely had infections. No two ways about it. So Tony going on and on and on. Listen, let me be very, very frank. I don't care what you think, Tony. I honestly do not care. You're entitled to your opinion, and we will share your opinion, but you're like a broken record right now. You keep going on and on and on about this Cayman versus Jamaican thing. It's like anytime we post up any news about Jamaica, some of you feel like it's an attack, no matter what the story is, no matter how truthful it is. And you feel like you can go on trying to build into this narrative and trying to prove how I hate Jamaicans and blah, blah, blah. I don't care what you think. I know how I feel about Jamaicans. I'm good with that. Big up to all my Jamaican relatives this morning. Kingston, St. Mary. I don't think we have anyone in Portmore right now that I can think of. My grandfather was from St. Elizabeth. I do not care. Tory or who else was on this whole Troy. I don't care what you guys think. You can think that I hate Jamaicans all you want. So what? The Jamaican friends that I have, the Jamaican family that I have, know better. They're the ones that I care about what their opinion is, okay? The rest of you who don't even know me, I could give 2 flying Fs. Me no business with you. So you think that by coming on here and saying something over and over and over and over and over again, it's going to make it true. Your opinion of me has nothing to do with the reality. And by you keep saying it over and over again, that doesn't make it true. But what we're not going to do on this show, since this actually is my platform and not yours, is we're not going to allow you to continue to degrade the conversation like you did with poor Denisha the other day when she was on the show, making this about, people who hate Jamaicans. Denisha is a Jamaican born in Jamaica, telling you guys that people there are not maintaining social distancing. This is what she's seeing with her own eyes. She lives in Kingston. And there were those of you who still get on here arguing about this with this woman, telling her, the premier shouldn't let her back in the country, the prime minister. Donkeys, she lives in Jamaica. She's Jamaican. What on earth are you talking about? And this is the ignorance that I cannot take, right? National pride is good. Jamaicans are the best at it. Every single sporting event, they're representing with their flags. And I've always said Caymanians in this regard need to take a page out of their book. They understand a thing or two about having national pride and about demonstrating who you are. Jamaicans have their flag, just like I got my Cayman flag in the background. Jamaicans will wear their Jamaican colors. They are proud to be a Jamaican. That's great. But when your pride turns into delusional thoughts, like everyone in Cayman hates Jamaicans. Sandra Hill has a problem with Jamaicans. Blah, blah, blah. That's when you need to be checked in to a mental institution. Because just because you feel that And just because you think that doesn't make it a fact. So what I'm not going to do this morning, because that's what all of you on here, oh, she hates Jamaicans. Let's put forward this narrative. She hates Jamaicans, blah, blah, blah. Really? But what you're not going to do is you're not going to use this platform to continue that dialogue because it simply, number one, isn't true. You have no evidence whatsoever. Oh, the fact that we report the news? So what? Didn't we report the news the other day on the Philippine president saying that he will shoot anyone who does not adhere to the social quarantining measures that they put in place? I don't hear the community in the Filipino community claiming that I hate them. When we were talking about some of their other issues, they got upset about that. So there are issues that are national issues. There are issues that are specific to Caymanians, Hondurans, Jamaicans, people from West Bay, people from Georgetown. So if I start talking about the gang activity in West Bay, all of a sudden, do I hate West Bayers? Get over yourselves, people. You're beginning to sound very ignorant with the dialogue. And we're not going to engage in it, and we're not going to allow you to continue to have that dialogue on this show. If you said your opinion once, people saw it the first time. This little back and forth between each other. Yes, well, let us prove how she hates Jamaicans. Wagwan. Shut the F up. Come off my page is what you need to do. Because you're getting under my blood clot nerves here this morning. Okay? So Jason says, good morning, Sandy. Big up Cayman and Jamaica peeps. Some of the Jamaican people ranting are stressed out, so pray for them. They gonna get a prayer all right. You can get a proper cussing out this morning with your foolishness. Just come off my page. I don't care. Go somewhere else and have the conversation because I'm gonna start blocking some of you here this morning. Because, Mom, listen, I never take my medication. You understand me? So don't get on my friggin' nerves this morning. Mallory. So people have to realize that pension funds are not necessarily good. Mallory, we have to talk about the pension situation. And I'm glad you brought it up. Klein claims that we should listen to the government, not the newspaper. Lord Jesus Jehovah. Klein, your prime minister has said, are you listening to everything that he's saying? Because clearly you're not. He has said that he was not taking people back in. That came out of his own mouth. Maybe you need to listen to him. Ah, Lord. Dominican Republic has over 2,000 cases. She needs to report that. A lot of Dominicans live here in Cayman. And again, Tony, this is where your stupidity is about to get your ass blocked. Because if you did not read, let me just back up. The piece that we did last week, which is an extremely popular piece on the Dominican community and how they have actually spread it at that complex in Georgetown. That was April the 13th. 6 degrees of separation. Over 9,000 people read that. Tori, you have earned yourself a block because you are an ignorant woman. So let me find the block button. Hold on, Tori. I will gladly do the honors. Block user. Bam, you're done, honey. Get the F out of here because you're ignorant. For those of you who missed the story in the Dominicans, because we're not picking at anybody based on where you're from, it does not matter where you're from. Nobody cares. We're in this pandemic together. Okay? Yes, the US has the most cases. How many times, Tamika, have we not sat on this show and talked about the fact, and this is where you guys obviously are not paying attention, how many times have we not talked about the fact that the US has the highest number, 765,000 plus cases of coronavirus? Spain only has 200,000 cases. So the US has 500,000 more than Spain, which is in the second place. And now they have double the deaths of Spain, over 40,000 compared to Spain's 20,000. And Italy, who was hard hit by this, has 23,000 deaths. The US is in the lead. And we have covered that beyond coverage. But when we cover that, we don't see you guys getting up in arms about nothing. Okay? Facts are facts. Whether you are from Germany, France, Italy, the US, Canada, Cayman, we are all in the same boat right now. And some of us are at the edge of the boat, like the Titanic, that is going to sink first. because we have governments who do not care about their people and who are not putting measures in place. So your government in Jamaica has said on numerous occasions, he wasn't really keen on taking people back. He was not going to open up the borders, just like Honduras. Jamaica is not the only country. And you need to go read it for yourselves. What about us? Stranded ship workers demand answers. April the 14th, Jamaican Gleaner. 21 hours ago, ship carrying Jamaican crew members docks in Southampton, UK. 15 hours ago, again, Jamaican Gleaner, Jamaican Observer. Lawyer requests repatriation of Jamaican crew members. So now Jamaicans are saying we have a legal right to come back into our country. And the government should not be able to stop that. So now they're going to get lawyers to fight for their human rights to return to Jamaica. So don't tell me no foolishness about the Prime Minister never knew that they were there. Get your facts straight. If you want to accuse people of peddling in fake news, the first thing you should make sure that you're not doing is peddling in fake news yourself. Hold on. And there's many more stories like that. Nicardo says Jamaican Cayman link up. Morning, Sandy. Good job. Keep it up. Just the truth. Not everyone can handle it. Well, it seems like a lot of people can't handle the truth. So Tashika says the same thing. Blah, blah, blah. Broken record. You've been doing this for a while now. Therefore, you should know by now that you get comments. Blah, 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 blah. No one said anything about all Jamaicans being bad. I don't even know what the point of that conversation was. Tashika, the point is there are people on here who are distracting from what we should really be talking about, things like pension, because they keep coming on here with their 1,000,001 comments that are completely erroneous. That's the foolishness I'm not going to put up with this morning. Fitzroy, nobody trying to stop you from doing anything in life. At the end of the day, we are often our own worst enemy. Who holds down Caymanians more than Caymanians? Yes, Yaniki. In case you, and once again, you haven't been paying attention, because everybody in Cayman knows that the last name Barnes came from St. Elizabeth in Jamaica. So get your facts, learn your history about both Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. And then you might be in a position to have a meaningful comment on this show. Seriously. Exactly, Rondine. It's the negativity that they're bringing into the conversation. That's why they're going to get blocked here today. Levita says she likes the Jamaican accent. She not business. Me not business either, but I'm going to start utilizing the block feature, which, by the way, is a new feature that we have here on the program. Absolutely love it, because now I can block directly from the program that runs the show, and I will certainly be utilizing that. Get out of your own headspace. Stop thinking that everybody in the world has it out for you and everybody hates you. You might be surprised what you could do with adjusting that thinking. So yes, I'm making you rant. Yes, it's all my fault. You can't control yourself, Troy. It's all my fault. It's my fault why you guys are acting the fool this morning. Okay. All right. If you say so. Oh, God. Let's move on to something else. Because really and truly, the conversation is in the dogs. Sandy, see, private planes are still allowed to fly in. Saw one an hour and a half ago. Wonder if these persons are being quarantined. So a couple things here, Charles. We know that some flights came in last week. They are not necessarily private planes that are bringing in people. So I do want to say that, first of all. It's entirely possible that they are private planes that are bringing in supplies and equipment. Just like there were private planes that brought in some of the equipment from, was it Mexico via South Korea? They stopped in Alaska. So yes, there might be some private planes coming in, but they're not passenger planes. Now, having said that, we do know that despite the fact that the airport is closed to passenger and commercial traffic, which includes private planes. So private planes are not exempted from this at all. The air ambulance services are still engaging in flights. So you may have to understand that. I mean, I don't know if that was a medic airplane or whatever, but that's entirely possible. So we saw over the weekend, there was a story about UE, not UE, sorry. Yes, the University of West Indies taking in a patient in Jamaica from Trinidad who was eventually confirmed to have COVID-19 disease. So that person had, I think, some kind of cardiac or respiratory related illness. So they were ready, no, my mistake. That wasn't that case. That person actually has cancer, some kind of stomach or gastric cancer. And so they were going to the University of the West Indies for treatment. Some of the workers at that facility there said people were very concerned about how they initially were treated, not knowing that, they had a positive case of COVID-19. Now, in this day and age, we saw it happen here. For us to go from here to the US, even with an air ambulance, that person had to be pre-tested. And that's how we found out that one person who was asymptomatic, showed no symptoms at all, actually had the coronavirus, because the Americans like, you not sending nobody here, even by air ambulance, without testing them first, so that we know what we're dealing with and we can take appropriate steps. So as a result of that positive step, that person was not permitted to go to the US. So obviously it wasn't like an emergency situation, because they're still here. And I don't know, once they've recovered, if they can then rebook to send them off or whatever. Debbie says, here's something to smile about, Miss Sandy. I'll be sending you my 15-minute warm-up. Go, girl. We're talking about that on Friday. Louis says, that's why I tune into CMR. Love the show, Talking International. International is what it is. Beautiful Irvelyn. I keep saying this, and I don't know what do people. I mean, honestly, we do not live in a world by ourselves. So when people say, oh, this is Cayman Mall Road, all right, show me any newspaper, Simone. I will give you $100 today. Social distancing, so I hand it to you in a stick. I'll put it into your bank account. If you can show me any newspaper in the world that only reports news from their newspaper. Yes, it's called Cayman Mall Road, and 90% of what we cover is Cayman News. We have a regional correspondent, Danica, on board. She will be covering Jamaica, the rest of the Caribbean, and some stuff out of the US. Even yesterday, we had a story about Canada. Nova Scotia, sorry. Far, far away, folks. Nobody lives literally, figuratively, on an island by themselves. The world is interconnected. We're all interconnected as people. The US economy tanks. Guess who's going to be impacted? Cayman, Jamaica, Haiti, all over the world. Stuff happens in Europe. We've had Caymanians go to Europe, a young guy there sexually assaulted a girl. Is that, oh, we mustn't cover that because that's in the UK? News happens the world over. When you're in the news business, there is no such thing as you can only report news from one location. You would look like a proper donkey doing so. So yes, we report news from all over the world. Jamaican Gleaner says around the Caribbean, and they're reporting the COVID response. Oh my God, they mentioned the Cayman Islands. Oh no, how dare they mention us in Jamaican news? They mentioned the Bahamas. Oh my God, they talk about Washington, D.C., Trinidad, Guyana. People, see the what's the word called? What's the word I'm looking for? That's dripping from my mouth right now. The sarcasm. Sarcasm is oozing out of my mouth in case you missed it. Some days I just can't even. I'm just like, Lord have mercy. Where's my blood pressure tablet? Because clearly I got to have to take an extra one today. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway. One bit of news that had people questioning was this whole concept of Cayman deporting people. Well, we have asked people to leave if you do not have a job. If you have a job and you're going to have a job in the foreseeable future, and there are people who will continue to work during this, then there is no need for you to leave. What's the big deal? You can still continue to work and so on. As I said earlier, the Cayman's government is not financially in a position to take care of every single person here. So the best bet for people is to return home where you have family and you have loved ones, and you are able to then rely upon those persons to help you out. Right now, money services businesses are not open in the Cayman Islands, and guess what? They're not opening anytime soon. So there will be no money coming in, and there'll be no money leaving the Cayman Islands. In February the 11th, this is the UK, a Home Office flight deporting convicted offenders to Jamaica has left the UK despite last-minute legal challenges. Because again, the UK government said, we not business with you. The court ruling came in on Monday night. This is back February the 11th. And then there's this whole thing about a moral debate and should we be able to send them home and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, the UK government said, oh, we're sorry. You're still leaving. And in this situation, this is very, very interesting because some of these people have no connections to the UK any longer because they have, to Jamaica, any longer because they have lived in the UK all of their lives. So this person says, I have all my family here. I have no one in Jamaica. So you're sending me back to Jamaica, says this 32-year-old speaking to the BBC. Again, even the BBC covering news that impacts all over the world. So you're sending us back and we have no one to go back to. This is the reality of the world that we now live in. It is what it is, folks. If you're not working, then your best bet, what the government have said, is to try to return home. Cayman is expensive. No one can say otherwise. And that expense means that where you might be able to take $100 a week in other jurisdictions and make that spread, in Cayman, $100 a week can't even get you a couple bags of groceries at Foster's, trust me, or any grocery store in Cayman. I know. We are all in this mess together. But there's certain actions that you should be prepared to take that are not selfish, right? So the Caymanian people right now, we have to start thinking about ourselves. And if that offends you, can I just tell you, too bad? If that offends you, then sorry, Keep it moving. I don't know what to tell you. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments. Hold on one second. I lost where I was in the comments because there's so many coming in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. At one point, we were peaking. We went over 600 people tuned in to the show today. Whoa. I think I've missed a lot of comments here. Yeah, I think Sandy, my back's covered. What a mess. What the ass going on here? All right. So broadband, I think some of the comments have disappeared. Zanoya says we have no hate. Some Jamaicans get offended quick because of negative people around them saying it, so they think all Caymanians hate Jamaicans. That's a lie. Neither is true. Let's leave the hate people. And not only is it not true, honestly, it's ridiculous because as Caribbean people, and I know this for a fact, when we are so much more connected than we are separated. So yes, there are differences between Cayman and Jamaica. But in terms of connectivity in the Caribbean, no one is more connected than Cayman and Jamaica when you look outside of your actual country. So the first thing you do when you go to the States is you look for your Caribbean people. And who do we look for the most? Jamaican people. So when Jamaican people get all up in their feelings about, oh, we don't like them and blah, 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 it's just like, I can't even deal with it defies logic. Irvin says I must go take one pill. Someone says to tell them your husband is Jamaican. Listen, I should not even have to say that. Who cares? Yes, he is Jamaican. But even before I was married to him, guess what? My grandfather is a Jamaican. So, does that make you feel better? Does it make you feel better when I say, okay, my husband's a Jamaican, 100%. He's from St. Mary. He's a country boy, blah, blah, blah. I can call my brother-in-law right now in Kingston and be like, yo, bro, wagwan. Does that make you feel better? It shouldn't, because I'm telling you, those of you who talking your BBC foolishness don't know what you're talking about. Yes, Tory got scrubbed, done and dusted. Facts are facts. Thank you, Gary. Kashina says, calm down, Sandra. I'm a Jamaican. I think somebody's trying to call the show. Let me see if they're calling the show or calling me. There are things in my country that I'm not proud of, and we're naive at times. Listen, we all have the same foolishness. Good morning. Are you trying to come on air with us?
Yes, I am, Sandy.
All right. Hold on one second, honey. Let's put you on air. Good morning.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Well, go on. Me good. Me there.
I'm Tamara calling out of Fort Lauderdale.
Whoa, Tamara, big up my girl. How is it in Fort Lauderdale?
It's good.
All right. Everybody behaving, staying off the beaches?
No, Fort Lauderdale people don't know anything about behavior.
Listen, trust me when I tell you that is like a worldwide epidemic right now. People just are not paying attention.
Yes, they're not behaving no self here. They don't care. People are going crazy. With this pandemic that is going on, everyone is going crazy.
Yeah, I think more so than others. Like people are just all up in their feelings. They're just easily insulted. They're trying to come for you. Mark says, Sandy, stop making people call you out. They're not calling me out, but at the same time, I'm like, listen, I will address you. Everybody knows that about me. I was always the kid. Listen, going back to high school days, I wasn't the kid that ever started a fight. You never come to me if you want to start a fight, right? I mind my own business at that point. Obviously, Cayman Road never bought a business still, but you know what I mean, right? So I don't start a fight, but if somebody come for me, I'm going to defend myself. And I'm going to say,
I like that little long that you say, don't come from your side, don't say.
You understand? Because I'm gonna set the record straight.
Yes.
And I can think back.
I am a Jamaican, Sandy, and I listen to the program every day. You know that, and I comment when I have to.
Yes.
And there is something. I mean, I understand where you're coming from this morning when you get all upset and you know.
Yeah.
But for me personally, sometimes I have to keep my cool. I'm a Jamaican. I'm a pro-Jamaican.
Yes.
I love Cayman Islands. I lived there for 10 years, and every single day living in Fort Lauderdale, I talk about that island.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to see one island in the Caribbean to compare to Cayman Islands.
Thank you.
But I must be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I know where some of my people are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the comments that you see that they've made about Jamaicans, sometimes it really gets under my skin too. And sometimes I want to go at them so hard, but I grind my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So people read the comments every day. Some people sit on it and don't say anything, and some people just explode at times. But if you are coming from a genuine point and saying what you're saying about Jamaicans, which is understandable, but then on the wider scale, when people go on Facebook and everywhere and read some of the comments that Caymanians are making about Jamaicans, it hurts. Because I'm going to tell you as a Jamaican, it hurts me.
Yes.
When they say Jamaicans, they don't address that individual. They address Jamaicans, and all of us are Jamaicans. So sometimes we're going to take it offensive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I know it's not the time for this kind of behavior. It's just not the time for this kind of thing to be going on.
Yeah.
Cayman Islands have to protect their people. Jamaica have to protect their people. And I'm going to say to you, Sandy, I'm so mad at my own people sometimes. I've been watching some videos that has been sent to me, and what is on Facebook of how my fellow people are behaving, especially in my country right now. Only God is going to have mercy on Jamaica. Oh, some of us are stupid. Some of us are ignorant, and we are dumb and fucking illiterate as Jamaicans. You know what I mean? We are so stubborn.
Yep,
so
speak the truth.
When we behave like that and videos like that hit the international scene, this is what caused people to class Jamaican and class us as one people.
Yes.
As dumb and stupid. So sometimes we have to sit back and try to let our people know that some of our behaviors, it don't make no sense because it makes us look dumb. What I would ask the public to do, when you're generalizing Jamaican, don't say Jamaicans.
Yes.
Because all of us are Jamaicans, and we who are law-abiding citizen Jamaicans are going to take it offensive. Address that individual situation on a one-on-one basis. I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because honestly, people need to, I think, address issues, and within the context of issues, yes, there are differences from one country to the next and how issues are handled. But when people make these sweeping comments about an entire community, an entire nationality, that's where you get into problems for sure. And the same thing happens right here in Cayman, even amongst Caymanians. We'd be like, oh yeah, this person from West Bay got all the crime. And then the West Bayers get upset about that because they feel like, okay, we're not attacking or talking about really the crime issue. We're trying to attack and make West Bay people look bad. So it happens the world over. And I don't really know per se why people try to get like personally offended. That's why for me, I'm going to be honest with you. When people start talking about bad about Caymanians, I know it don't apply to me. So I don't take it on. You understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes
on an individual basis, when you look at it, everybody handles situation differently.
Yeah.
And there's a risk in my view that has been going on with Caymanians and Jamaicans for whatever reason. I don't know.
Exactly. But listen, I know.
I say to you, Cayman, I hold that island dear to my heart because in all truth and honesty, Cayman changed my life. And I'm proud to say that I'm a proud Jamaican, born and bred Jamaican, blood of the style of Jamaica. And Cayman, living there, changed my life in a whole lot of different aspects. I'm Sandy, and I'm proud to say I would live in Cayman Islands, retire there for my entire life if the opportunity presents itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have nothing to say bad about that country. What I'm saying though, as people and we are people of the Caribbean, let's love one another. If there's a situation that is happening out there, address it individually, because sometimes when they say Jamaicans, even though it doesn't apply to me, it sounds a way, just like when they say Caymanians, it sounds a way because they are law-abiding citizens.
Exactly. Yep.
So that is my.
And I mean, even listen.
I feel like it's too long to text, so I said, let me just call.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate that very, very much. And of course, everyone should know that you can call in if you wish. The numbers here, 324-1612 via WhatsApp. Give us a call at any time. So, girl, big up yourself.
Have a great day, Sandy, and don't let the people make you.
No, man, listen.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you know I'm going to tell them about themselves still, but we're going to keep it real.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
Have a good one. All right.
Take care.
So some great comments. Thank you so much, calling all the way from Fort Lauderdale. And this is the thing, folks. We all live in different places. I have lived in the U.S. as a visitor in their country. So I know what it feels like. And sometimes I even say this to my own Caymanians when they kind of come down at other people. I said, listen, you have not had the opportunity to live in another man's country. And you don't necessarily know the stresses that come with that. And sometimes you are desperate to stay in somebody else's country because the opportunities afforded to you there are more than you can find in your own country. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a degree of respect and honesty that you have to pay those people whose country you are in at the same time. You know, last night I was speaking to my brother-in-law in Kingston, and I was saying to him, I said, boy, you know, we had this show on last week with Danica and how these people come in hard. He was like, listen, don't pay Jamaicans no mind, you know, because that's how we stay. He was like, don't worry about it. Caymanians are the same way. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies because we want to cuss and carry on. And this rift between Jamaica and Cayman, it has been there forever. It is the equivalent of a mother having stepchildren and trying to force them together. They're going to cuss and carry on amongst each other, but at the end of the day, make somebody else on the inside come in and try to do something to either one of them. Then they're going to have each other's back. And that is the way that I feel about this Cayman-Jamaican relationship. Sometimes we just love to go on and on and on about it. Look at the time, folks. You waste up your time. You run out the time on the show. It's over. We never got to talk about pensions. So now we have to leave that until tomorrow. We will discuss it then. I see a lot of your comments. We have, listen, I literally lost track of the comments this morning. I don't even know how many of them there are. But we will continue the conversation tomorrow morning, 7:15. I've got to run actually to doctor's appointments, so I'm going to do that now. I wish all of you a wonderful day. Be safe. We should hear some information this week about the pension and how that's going to happen. So what we do know so far is very, very little. The only thing we know for sure is a pension holiday is coming. We're going to talk about some of the logistics. Otherwise, I did get a message from someone who's Costa Rican, and they said that, good morning, Sandra. We, the Costa Rican community, are in the process of making a flight to Costa Rica, and the two governments are working on this matter. Costa Rica wants to help us, and Costa Rica is ready to open up the airport for us. So kudos to Costa Rica. Thank you so much. Thumbs down to Nicaragua. You did yourself bad this weekend by closing your borders to your own citizens. That is just not cool, folks. Not in a time like this. Yes, try my head mad, and your point being, Simone, go put away your phone for the rest of the day. Says Annie, you try to extend this show yet today. No, man, I have appointments to go to, so I cannot extend it. Defend your country, but not when the people is wrong. Boom! Mic drop, Mona. Mona, link me. You need to get the gift certificate of the day. Your choice, Popeyes or Burger King. Link me up because that is the best comment ever. Yes, defend your country, but you can't defend wrong. Andrea, you have a beautiful day, darling. Good to see you. Jasara, I think is how that's pronounced. Have a blessed day. And I know I got this right the other day. Now I'm struggling. Zenoya, enjoy your day. Stay blessed. Folks, you've been listening to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. No one brings it to you quite as hard and quite as cold as we do. But if you're not into the truth, then, you know, me can't help you. You're on the wrong show. Take it somewhere else, folks. Word from one of our sponsors, let's eat. And then we will have our Cold Hard Truth song. Stay tuned for it because a lot of you.
Cayman's restaurants have always been there for you. A place to get together with friends, to celebrate, to take a first date, or grab a meal between rugby and piano practice. And even though the tables are empty, some kitchens are still full, ready to feed you and your family while keeping you safe and making your meals as delicious as ever. They were there for you, now we can be there for them. While doors might be closed, kitchens are open for delivery. Let's eat.
You don't know who I am, but I know all about you. I've come to talk to you tonight about the things I've seen you do. I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself.